Chapter 52. Jen. I can tell Michael's on edge by the way he's constantly drumming his fingers against his thigh. But so far, so good. We're at the dinner table with a delicious supper of some kind of savoury cheese tart with walnuts and pears. No idea how Heather manages to pull this stuff off. A thick glass of wine, and even Ezra has laughed at our anecdotes from the marriage preparation course. How many sessions are there? Heather asks hopefully. She clearly loves the fact that we'll be travelling here and staying over. Just 2 more, Michael says. Evidently, he can't wait to get the whole thing over and done with. Sometimes I worry that's what the whole of life will be like with Michael, always on to the next thing. Wedding before 30th birthday? Check. 2.4 children before 40th? I haven't even asked him how many kids he wants yet. Oh, Heather tries unsuccessfully to hide her disappointment. And what are your plans for tomorrow? I thought we could leave after breakfast, Michael says. This seems a little harsh, treating them as a glorified B&B. I clear my throat to catch his attention. We don't have to leave straight away, do we? I ask. Michael looks surprised. He obviously thought I'd want to shoot off as much as he does. Well, no. He hesitates, probably trying to think of an excuse or reason why he needs to get back. There's a special service tomorrow for the Epiphany, Ezra says, then looks directly at me. If you enjoyed the carol service, you might like to come. An invitation? Clearly church is the way to Ezra's heart, and where I once would have kicked up a fuss about going to my grandparents' lengthy services, the idea of going back there doesn't repel me. There was something still and profound about the whole place. Yes, please. I agree before Michael can say no. Later, when I'm lying in bed, I reflect with satisfaction on the day. Marriage prep was unexpectedly helpful, and Ezra seems to be thawing towards me. It's a new year full of new possibilities. But another thought stabs me like a knife in my heart. This year, it will be the 10th anniversary of my mother's death. The memories of that awful season in my life are enough to bring tears to my eyes, and as much as I try to focus on the positives, wouldn't she be happy now that I'm engaged? The negatives stand out with the sharpness of a black marker on a whiteboard. I'm getting married, and she's not going to be there to see it. Even though I should think happy thoughts about my amazing dress, my glamorous bridesmaids, the venues and the menus, that one cold fact is enough to plunge them all into the silence of screaming underwater. Nothing gets through. It's enough to lace my dreams with a bitter aftertaste, and it's probably why I snap at Michael the next morning. He knocks at my door and sits on the bed while I rub oil into my scalp to help moisturise my hair. We don't have to stay all day today, he says. Why not? I ask. I just didn't think we were going to stay. I didn't plan for it, he says, betraying some agitation. What do you have to get back for? I ask. If you want to go running, you can do it here. No one's stopping you. It's not that. I catch his glum expression in the mirror and turn to face him. You find it hard being here, I state. I get it, but what are you going to do when you find it hard being with me? Work late every night to avoid me? You know I would never. Actually, I don't, I say. I know how difficult parents can be, but I think you need to show more appreciation for the fact that you have both parents and they're willing to spend time with you. You only just moved back in with your dad, and now you're telling me how to fix my relationship with my parents. He runs a hand through his hair. That stings. I made mistakes, I say. I admit it. I've been able to put things right again. You can't do that until you're honest with them about how you feel. They don't want honesty, he says. They want me to be just how I've always been, the perfect son. It's just never good enough. I think you're looking at it all wrong. I turn to the mirror. Cinnamon rolls, Heather calls from downstairs. After breakfast, we head out from the house to walk along the coast path that follows the cliff tops. It's a grey, cloudy morning and the wind is bracing, but hearing the crash of the waves and watching the white foam froth over the rocks makes me feel alive. So often at this time of year, it feels like I'm half asleep, like a sort of hibernation. Michael and Ezra soon outpace Heather and me. We're at the more leisurely end of the spectrum. It must be lovely to see the sea through the year, I comment. Yes, Heather smiles. It's so quiet in the winter. We have it all to ourselves virtually. Did Michael and Rachel do much swimming growing up here? I ask. Yes, they loved it in summer. She smiles at the memories. Seems a long time ago now. We'll have to come so he can show me, I say. Before we go away, maybe we could come for a weekend in June. You're always welcome, Heather beams. I can't wait to start booking things onto our new joint calendar, which currently only exists in my head. I lost my mum when I was a teenager too, Heather says, unexpectedly. Oh, I say. I don't think Michael ever mentioned it. I know what it's like whenever you go through a milestone and she isn't there to see it. My eyes fill with tears and the wind continues to whip my hair into a frenzy. Do let me know if I can help with anything, she says, laying a hand on my arm. I manage a teary smile. Thank you, Heather. Ahead of us, Michael and Ezra are still keeping a good pace when a horde of seagulls swoop down and bark noisily. Ezra twists round, loses his balance and topples over. He catches onto Michael's coat and pulls Michael down with him. As we hurry to catch up with them, they stand, their trousers covered in mud. Oh no! Heather gasps. I can't help laughing. Heather begins to giggle too, and Michael's expression of annoyance gradually melts into a reluctant grin. Ezra says, "Sorry, son," and then starts laughing too. When I see Michael and his dad smiling side by side, the resemblance between them is uncanny.